So g'day, I want to talk to you about the idea of a nature boost. And we often hear about fruit boosts or some other sort of boost where you get a nice fruit juice on board or something like that. It just gives you a bit of a lift through the day. And I hadn't really thought about this term until last week. I was privileged to be invited to an event up in the canton of Graubünden here in Switzerland. Beautiful place, full of mountains and wonderful scenery, forests, valleys, just terrific place. And it was an event put on by the ETHZ, very prestigious university in Zurich, by a team there who were looking at climate change. And they invited a group of people to come together. About 100 of us arrived, and we went up the gondola to the mountains. Our meeting was at about 2,200 metres. And we were looking at all issues around climate change. There was people there working on all sorts of things: food waste, energy, renewable energy, inspiring corporate transformations, a whole range of things. Great people, really enjoyed being with them. Got there on the Sunday and they'd asked me in advance if there's something I could offer to the group. And I said, well, what about a forest therapy walk? Just to help people strengthen their relationship with nature and calm down perhaps after some busy and stressful discussions. And they said, look, this would be terrific. And so I thought, okay, let's do that. And so on the Monday and on the Tuesday of our meeting, just after lunch, the idea was to take a group of people to have some nature therapy. We couldn't do forest therapy because we were up above the tree line, 2,200 metres, but there was beautiful scenery. We could look down through the valleys and see the forests below, snow-capped mountains, some misty cloud. It made for a sensational place. We had lots of rocks with lichens, little alpine herbs and flora. Such a beautiful place. But there was one problem. The normal sort of time we spend to do a forest therapy walk is sort of minimum of about 2 hours. And they said, well, you've got about 30 minutes. And I'm like, oh, golly, what can we do with that? And nonetheless, I thought, well, what about just sort of an introduction to forest therapy where we could get up there and I could just tell them a little bit about it, and we could try a couple of invitations just to help people deepen their relationship to that place and feel that calm connectedness that comes when you turn your mind off and you connect your body to the place, all of your senses. So I waited, we had lunch, and then I waited, and a few people, I'll just go and get my coat, and I'll just go to the toilet because it was a bit cold. And so by the time we then wandered up away from where we were having our meeting, I really didn't have much time at all. So gave them a quick introduction as we were walking up to the place where we were going to have our little nature experience, and gave a couple of invitations, helped them connect to their body there. What could they smell? What could they hear? All of these things. What could they touch? What could they taste in the air? It was terrific. And we had about 12 participants on the first day. They'd capped it because we had a lot of other things. So it was only 12 people, but 12 people is pretty cool. And at the end of it, there was this universal sense of calm and relaxation. We'd been in these meetings talking about climate change, a bit heavy, and people had been months and months this year working on these issues, COVID, lots of stress. And here we were on top of this mountain, just breathing in the air, slowing down and finding that relationship with nature. And this was terrific. So that went on. We went back to our meetings, and all of the people said the rest of the day was much more bearable for them, and they felt much more productive because they had that nature inspiration. So the next day, 24 people turned up to do the nature therapy walk, and we did the same. Luckily, we had a little bit extra time, so we slipped in an extra invitation. But at the end of it, there was lots of hugging and really sense of relationship with nature and relationship with each other as we went back in for those challenging discussions in the afternoon. And I felt to myself that this was marvelous. This wasn't a full forest therapy walk or nature therapy walk that lasts over 2 hours, but nonetheless, the impact on the participants had been profound. We did the invitation free the nose, and because there weren't any trees up there, so people had to get down on the ground. And I was watching all of these people, with their nose in the alpine herbs, and one of the participants said that as her breath warmed the alpine vegetation, she could smell the aromatic oils rising up off the vegetation. And this had given her a great sense of connection to place. So rather than being a full immersion, a full 2 hour plus event, it was literally just on the second day about 35 minutes. And I came back and I wrote a message to the forest therapy global group on Facebook, and I said, any experience of doing this? And a number of people came back and said, yeah, we're seeing this more and more. And one participant, one forest therapy guide, Holly Barber, shout out to you, wrote to me and said, well, yeah, we're sort of starting to call this like a nature boost, just a short, sharp shot. Nothing much too sharp about it. It was actually very rounded and lots of curves and, no straight lines in nature. So there was that sort of experience of just being present in nature, even 20, 30 minutes, I think the second day a little bit longer, but just a wonderful experience. And it seemed to lift the participants' mood, and it seemed to lift their productivity, and it seemed to lift their spirits. So the rest of the day, the conversations were so much richer, just enriched with that spirit of nature, which of course is part of what we're trying to protect in our discussions around climate change. So just wanted to share this concept, this idea with you around a nature boost. That was on the Tuesday. On the Friday, I had a call with some people in Singapore, Vietnam, across Asia. Here in Europe, we had people dialed in from about 5 or 6 countries. Had a lot of discussion around other things. And just at the end, we had about 20 minutes. And we just did one of these little nature boosts. Just encourage them to look and slow down, think about where they were and breathe in deeply and connect to where they were with their bodies. And a lot of people have been sitting at their desk all day and in fact all week. So we invited them to stretch and move. And at the end, they all said that was terrific. We'd forgotten how much we were stuck sitting at our desks. So we're going to talk more about nature boosts going forward. And we might even offer, through our website and things like this, just an opportunity to connect and do a nature boost together. There's forest therapy guides all around the world. We'll put a link so that you can find a forest therapy guide near to where you are. So you could do one in person, but we could also do them virtually, as I did on the Friday with the team in Singapore and across Southeast Asia. So that's Nature Boost. Have a little bit of a reflection on that and maybe get up, leave your desk, have a stretch, go out and smell some nature, touch some nature, taste some nature. Give yourself 20 minutes just to be in nature, a nature boost. Hope it goes well.